Okay, hello again. So this is chapters 13, 14, and 15 of Genesis. And so you need to go back and read this for yourself. But I'm just going to give you the highlights and then what God brings out of it. So in 13, Abram leaves Egypt because Pharaoh told him you got to leave here. But he blesses him on the way out. And so then he takes everybody, including his, Lot. And they go and settle in Hebron, which is today the Judean hills, the southern part of the west bank of Israel. And there God told him in chapter 13, 14 verse through the 18 verse, that look around and see all this land. This is what I'm going to bless you and your descendants. So this is where you can know historically also that this is what God is saying. This first 5 or 6 books of the Bible is the Torah, and we are grafted into it's called Messianic because of the fact that it is people who believe in the Messiah, that is Jewish and Gentile together. So we have a Jewish-ish faith. It is not, the Jews didn't reject Christ and then they became Christians and we had a whole nother faith. This is a Jewish faith, and it's Messianic because of the Messiah. So we've been grafted in. So anyway, chapter 13, Abram is told by God that he's going to bless him with all this land, and as far as the stars and the sand he can see, if he can count any of them, that is how he would know how many of his descendants will be in the earth. And at the time, like I said before, Abram didn't have any children, and he was 75 at the time that he went to Israel. I mean, not Israel, but Egypt. And so, therefore, he did not think that he was going to have any children. He thought that his manservant would be his lineage or his beneficiary to everything he owns. And God tells him, no, you're going to have your own offspring from your own loins. So anyway, God tells him in 14 through 18 that this is a land that I'm going to give you and to your descendants. And so Abram builds an altar to him in that chapter. In chapter 14, leaving out of chapter 15, Lot and Abram separate and they go their own way because they have too many land, too many children. I mean, not too much land, but too many children and too many possessions. So they separate, and Lot goes to live in Sodom, and then Abram stays where he is. So Lot got captured because a war broke out in Sodom, and so Abram had to go and get him back and all of his people and all his possessions. And so Abram did capture all of Lot and all of his family and children and all his possessions, and he brought him back. And once he returned, Melchizedek, the high priest, ordered Abram to come to him, and he blessed him, and he said the prayer over him that he said, "Blessed be Abram by God the Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and praise be to God Most High, who delivered you from your enemies and delivered your enemies into your hands." And then in chapter 15, after the war was over, the king of Sodom wanted to come back to Abram and say, hey, what can I give you to get all the people and all the possessions back? And Abram told him, you can have all of this, at least you say that you made me rich, because he was a true follower of God. So he gave him all of the people back and all his possessions, and then Abram went to God and was talking to God, and God said to Abram, because of how you believed in me, I'm going to make a covenant with you. And he said, do not be afraid, for I am your shield and your very great reward. And God said, I will make you and your offspring as many as the stars. And because Abram believed God, it was counted unto him as righteousness. And God gave Abram what is now Israel. So that is the end of chapter 14, 15, and 16. No, 13, 14, and 15. Sorry, not 16. And so out of that lesson, it can be said that God, when he blesses you, it doesn't, you can have absolutely nothing and have to start all over from whatever situation it is. And if you put your trust in the Lord, he will make your descendants and you wealthy. The highest wealth is to know your salvation in Christ. And I hope that's what you give to your children and anyone you come in contact with, because that is the highest blessing. But physically speaking, in this earth, God will bless you tremendously from just doing his work, just being called and walking into that calling and just doing what he's asked you to do. And also, when you run into trouble and you need a rescue, he's there to rescue you, and you can always depend on him. Even if it's 11:59, he will come through, and you can believe that. Let's see. I think that's about it. But if you guys have any questions, you can also reach out through following, and then I will answer your questions or whatever. And at the end of all of this, because I didn't say it within with chapters 10, 11, and 12, because I knew I was going to come back in here today. So I'm going to read the Aaronic blessing over you at the close of this. May God Adonai bless you and watch over you, guard and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and enlighten you, and be gracious, kind, and merciful, and giving to you of his favor. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you his shalom, his tranquility of heart and life continuously. May God bless you and keep you until tomorrow. And like sometimes I might have to catch up, because the other day, Tuesday night, I worked from 7 at night to 1 in the afternoon. So this is the reason why it was 2 back to back. But when it comes down to the Lord, I made a conscious effort that no matter how I do it, I had to get it done. And I hope that you also get the mindset of that. All right, God bless you. May he keep you.